tourism in a pandemic. I'm Adrienne Pedersen. Today on Upfront. The summer tourism season is here, but how busy will it be? I'll ask Tourism Secretary Designee Sarah Meany. That's coming up next on Upfront. Plus, Battleground Wisconsin 2020.
Do you need to win Wisconsin to get to the White House?
Oh, I think I plan on winning Wisconsin.
Joe Biden's virtual campaign stop in Wisconsin, why he thinks he'll win the state, and why he's critical of how Milwaukee handled its spring election. Plus, reopening cities, the challenge of keeping people safe while getting back to business.
Taking on the issues important to Wisconsin. This is Upfront with your host, Adrienne Pedersen.
Thank you for joining us. Memorial Day weekend is the time we take to remember those who have served and sacrificed. It's also been considered the unofficial start to Wisconsin's summer tourism season. But this season is going to look a lot different due to COVID-19.
Everybody's been getting ready and opening up, and everybody has a little bit different protocol in terms of what they're going to allow at their particular business. We're asking our visitors and residents that are out and about to just respect the individual businesses and what they're asking for. But by and large, most businesses are going to be asking that their customers do wear a face covering of some sort and also just practice social distancing guidelines. I don't think anything out of the ordinary for today's world.
Tourism is a big driver of the state's economy. How big? Well, last year, Wisconsin had more than 113 million visits. Those tourists spent $13.7 billion here. But in a pandemic, will tourists want to travel this summer? And how big of a hit could the industry take? We're asking Wisconsin's Tourism Secretary Designee Sarah Meany about this now. Sarah, thank you for your time. You know, I read a quote today that according to the U.S. Travel Association, the economy is in the midst of a recession. The travel industry is in a depression. What's your reaction to that?
Well, you know, that comment from the U.S. Travel Association is a very accurate reflection of how hard and how quickly the travel and tourism related industries of Wisconsin have been hit. And that's really based on the fact that while unemployment in our state in general is at about a quarter of our population, right? And it's actually over 50% of travel and tourism related jobs that are now facing unemployment. So that really does paint a very vivid picture for how quickly and how much things change.
And when it comes to Wisconsin in 2019, we just said it, almost $14 billion in tourism spending. What type of projection can you give us, not just for Memorial Day weekend, but really for 2020 in Wisconsin?
Well, again, U.S. Travel Association has been really, really helpful with the data that they are providing to people like me and my colleagues around the country. And what we know that since the week ending March 14th, Wisconsin actually saw a drop in travel spending compared to last year of $1.7 billion, just in the state of Wisconsin alone. So, you know, what we have to think about is every week, that's 200 million, 220 million or more dollars not spent on travel-related activities, whether that's lodging or recreation or food, beverage. All of those things mean less dollars in the hands of those business owners and employees, and also fewer dollars funneling back into our communities around the state in the form of tax. While we project further into summer, and as we see, you know, travel beginning to open up, certainly not at the rate we've seen in previous years, we can expect that downward trend compared to previous years to continue. And right now we are anticipating, based on travel sentiment of consumer travelers, about 2/3 of people are still very hesitant to travel or be in public spaces where there might be crowds. And yet, people are able to choose social distancing activities. The great outdoors in Wisconsin have always been a wonderful choice. And I think we anticipate seeing an uptick in people's ability and choice in choosing the great outside options that we have in our state.
How does the state make up for that much lost money?
I'm not sure that we will be able to actually make up for lost money. It's a bit like once an airplane takes off, you can't fill that airline seat, right? But in the scheme of things, what we know is that historically, while summer is our strongest travel and tourism spending season, we also have a very strong fall and winter level of activity. In fact, 2019 was Wisconsin tourism's largest year on record, with a very strong showing for winter. So what we hope to do is work together with our partners around the state to shift activities based on when public health experts tell us it's safe to increase travel or change our travel patterns, and focus on the areas and times when we can work to drive that rebound and that recovery.
And just recently, a few weeks ago, in fact, some places up north, places like Door County, were saying, don't come here. We can't handle this. We can't have a surge in cases. Our hospitals aren't capable of handling that kind of thing. What does it look like now in the state? Are places ready for visitors?
Well, you know, it's interesting. It's a really delicate balance that smaller tourism destination communities are faced with. They need the revenue for economic recovery, and yet what they aren't really set up to do is handle an increase or a surge in illness that would overtax their healthcare systems and supply chain. So it's a bit of a catch-22, and we're looking forward to a brighter future.
What are you and your coworkers going to do to convince people that it's safe and that it's good to travel?
Right. So it is actually the mission of the Wisconsin Department of Tourism to inspire travelers to experience Wisconsin. So there are a few different ways we have to think about how we interpret that mission and stay true to mission. In a normal year, in a pre-COVID year, you would see us very much already in very active promotion, encouraging people to come to Wisconsin and enjoy everything it is that we have to offer. But in the current circumstances, it is not advised by public health officials to be traveling outside of your communities. People are still recommended to travel only for essential activities based on the current situation in Wisconsin. So we're in a bit of a holding pattern where we know that the opportunities to recreate and enjoy the beauty of Wisconsin can still be enjoyed by those of us who are residents within our own communities. And so it's a very important message that we want people to hear, which is please do enjoy the beautiful outdoors of Wisconsin, but please do it responsibly and in balance with what the risk is to our communities and the health and long-term economic rebound that we hope for our state.
Will you be advertising outside of the state as you normally would to have tourists come here?
We are not currently advertising outside of the state or inside the state for that matter at the State Department of Tourism level. We have we paused the normal timeline that we would have on an advertising campaign and a promotional campaign, but we have everything ready to go for when it is clear from public health officials and that when the science tells us it's responsible and safe to travel again. So what we have is all systems are ready to go. We are in the ready, set stage of the ready, set, go pattern. So we hope to be able to move into that direction when it is safe to travel again and when it's responsible to encourage people to move around and travel.
And Sarah, one last question for you. There was some talk before that Republicans might not confirm you. Have you heard any update on that?
Well, you know, I think everyone's focus has shifted quite a bit toward the crisis at hand, and knowing that the health and safety of our residents in the state of Wisconsin is a massive priority. I'm hopeful that when the Senate does reconvene in the next Senate session, it might be a conversation that may come up in the future. I'm one of 5 secretaries in the cabinet that still hope to see confirmation happen in the future. And in the meantime, we're focused on getting the job done as we have since day one.
Okay, Sarah Meany with the Wisconsin Department of Tourism. Thank you.
Thank you.
There's grim news on the jobs front. Wisconsin's unemployment rate soared 10 points in April. It now stands at 14.1%. That's a level we have not seen since the Great Depression. Nationally, unemployment is at 14.7%. That is 39 million Americans out of work since the coronavirus crisis started 2 months ago. Wisconsin will get nearly $2 billion under the federal Coronavirus Relief Act, and Governor Evers' administration is doling it out. Here's how he plans to spend it. More than $1 billion will go to COVID-19 testing and contact tracing. $100 million will go toward long-term and home health care and emergency medical services. $75 million will be used to help small businesses. $51 million will go to child care centers. $50 million will be spent on payments to farmers. $25 million will be used for renters assistance, and $15 million will be directed toward food security. Coming up, just a few Wisconsin cities are still under stay-home orders. Are they islands in a sea of communities that have opened up? Plus, Joe Biden campaigns virtually in Wisconsin. Our Matt Smith goes one-on-one with the presumptive Democratic nominee. That's coming up next on Upfront.